Second portion of the bill is known as the cooling off period. This gives the break between time of service in the General Assembly and a member's ability to come back and be employed in the private sector to lobby members of the current General Assembly. The effective date, of course, is upon passage of the bill, which means that it will apply to all members standing for election in 2012. And basically that's what the bill does. But I do want to add, if I may, Mr. Chairman, just a brief history of the work that was done in this body in coming up with the bill. I know that there are some who in the Assembly who think the bill goes too far, that it's not necessary. There are some that think that it does not go far enough. And I would imagine in the general public sector there may be more in the latter than the former. But what we did was ask a group of members from both political parties to come together prior to us coming into session. This working group of about 8 people, evenly divided as Republicans and Democrats. My request to them was that they, through their conversations and input from members of the general public, come to a consensus on matters that were of importance, that we can make legislation to ensure that we were more transparent and more accountable to the people who give us the privilege of serving. The product of that work, which was over a period of about 6 weeks, was the bill I have before you, and the agreement between amongst the members that served. And I'm happy to bring this bill because I think it is a bill not only that is a result of input and compromise, but a bill that has, I hope, good likelihood of getting your approval and getting the approval of our colleagues in the House. And that is our ultimate charge, is to submit legislation, meaningful legislation that becomes
more. The cooling off period, it applies to members currently serving, so it applies to a third termer as well as a second term, or just a second term?
The bill will apply to those members who will be standing for election in 2012. So it would not apply to members who will be terminated. It would apply to any member, if they're a returning member, if they stand for election in 2012, then it would apply to them. And I can tell you that the general consensus on this, and as I've stated already to the media, this is not a result of any member coming to me and, or I think any of the members of the working group indicating their intent or plans to, any of the third termers, term-limited members, plans to transition into as a lobbyist after the session. But it was I think, the general consensus that the rules didn't need to be changed in the middle of the game, so to speak, for members who are currently serving. And so any member, whether they're a returning member or somebody that's seeking election to fill a term limited spot, would know when they file for election to serve the General Assembly, these will be the rules that they will be playing by.
The grandfathering provision in that, the effective date of that, do you feel like that's needed for the bill to pass?
Yeah, that was part of the charge that I felt we had in the beginning. Was I told the members that were part of the working group to come up with the proposal that there was a bill that passed out of committee today, that I wanted to get something that was meaningful. I think this bill is meaningful. I wanted to get something that we can pass. I think we can pass this bill. I had substantial concerns if we did not make the provision that these rules, these newly enacted rules, would apply and be in place for members that seek election to the House of Representatives. It just became a component necessary to, in my opinion, to get the bill passed.
Do you have any members in mind specifically that would oppose it otherwise, or what was the reason?
It was a result of the working group and the information that was brought to that group, and the working group, our working group, obviously started members of the House. We joined after the session began with members of the Senate, and I'll just say that it was a consensus of the working groups together that felt that this was necessary to pass the bill.